for today's month in review practice. So today we're going to incorporate some of the highlights of our practices with this theme throughout the class. So your yoga invitation for today is to be reminded that balancing is an action that requires effort. Balance is a state of being requiring no effort. Thank you for joining. Let us move into some precious gifted moments with centering stillness. So in the seated pose of your choice today, begin to fully arrive on your mat. Following the breath. Allowing all agenda outside of your mat to fade away and become present right here, right now. Eric Schiffman, a yoga master of today, reminds us that when you do experience the stillness within you, you undergo a fundamental transformation in the way you think about yourself and how you see the world. Receive one more deep, full, delicious breath. And with this next breath, let's begin to warm our bodies. So from our seated pose with this uplifted spine, we're just going to simply do a few shoulder rolls. So just allow the shoulders to move in a circular pattern, whichever direction that inspires you to move your shoulders. Let's come back into that center and just pause for a moment. Release the next breath and just let your right ear start to travel over towards your right shoulder. Allow the right shoulder blade and the shoulder just to relax down. Just invite your ear to keep traveling towards the top of your shoulder. Come back to the center slowly. Feel the inner movement, lifting the head back to center. And then gently begin to let the left ear travel over towards the left shoulder. Focusing on the shoulders themselves, relaxing deep into those back pockets. Even give a little inner energy to draw them down. And just notice the sensations that arises. And we'll all come back up into that center, slowly lifting to center. And then return to your shoulder rolls, opposite direction that you began with. Yeah. Just allow them to move. And we'll come back into that center. And this time we'll just do a couple of head rolls or neck rolls themselves. So uplifted spine, receiving breath, releasing breath. Right ear travels over towards the top of the right shoulder, and then just allow the head to begin circling forward. Keep the chin tucking in lightly, and then let the left ear circle over to the top of the left shoulder, and just allow the head to come back into center. We won't go back, we'll just come back to center, and we'll do a couple more. You might hear some snap, crackling, and pop. Finish your last little roll in this direction. Back into the center, receiving of the breath, releasing the breath. Go the opposite direction. Just allow the left ear traveling over to the left shoulder, head bows forward, chin tucking in lightly. Right ear starts to travel over to the right shoulder as the right shoulder stays lowered down and back up into your center. Follow through a couple more of these nice little circles. Complete your last shoulder, neck roll, head roll here. And we're all back into our centers together. We receive the next breath. We're going to reach out the left arm, let the left arm reach all the way up, and let the right arm reach out to the right side. Let's gaze over towards the left fingertips. And let the right fingertips slide away from our body until we find that healthy edge, and then release the right forearm. And when we release the right forearm down, I bet the shoulder releases too. And just travel into this, stretching through the left side of your body, breathing into that new inner space, and we rise up to center. Lift your body up, bend to the center. Now the left arm starts to travel down. The right arm is reaching up high, receiving of a deep breath, releasing of the breath. Turning the eyes to gaze towards the right fingertips. The right arm reaches over towards the left side. The left fingers reach away, and then let that left forearm release down onto your mat. Keep your alignment so the sit bones are still aligned. They're still grounding you. You might have to soften the practice just a little. And let's come back to center together. We lift ourselves all the way back up into the center. We open both arms out wide to our biggest wingspans, bringing both palms onto the thighs or knees, spinal waves, receiving breath. Let's pull the heart center forward. Use your hands and arms. Let the heart center draw forward. Shoulder blades draw down. Eyes gaze up. Release a breath. Start to let the arms stretch out. Start to let the head bow down. Lift the shoulders lightly towards the ears. And then flow. 1 or 2 more times here. balancing and balance. Even though we're in this seated pose, seemingly not even having to consider balancing or balance. Stay connected to your grounding, your foundation. Come back to the center. Receive a nice deep breath. And then we're going to transition into a seated pose with the soles of our feet flat on our mat in front of us here. We're going to do a little boat flow pose. And we're just going to focus on balancing itself, where this place where it requires some effort. So from your seated pose with the soles of the feet on the mat, hip width apart, knees hip width apart, slowly draw the hands onto the fronts of the shins or knee area. Draw the heart forward like we did for spinal wave. Hold that, release the hands, reach the arms forward, receive a nice deep breath. And when you release the breath, reach forward. So you let your hips hinge. You let your fingertips reach forward. Receive a breath. Come back to center. Release the breath. Reach back. Lean back till you feel that core energy. And then receive. Back to center. Here we go. Release. Reaching forward. Receive. Back to center. Release. Lean back. One or two more of these. So we can refresh our balancing breath after breath. This takes conscious effort, but it creates equilibrium, equanimity, which is the practice of yoga. Come back into that center, receive a breath, uplifted spine, release the breath. Lean back lightly so you can hover the feet. Just keep the feet hovering or let the legs stretch out a bit. 3 breaths here. So now we're going to challenge this balancing. It requires effort. Conscious awareness. Refresh it. Breath. Breathe. And slowly let the knees soften. If they stretched out, let the soles of the feet come down. Slide the legs forward, coming into Dandasana. So let the legs stretch out. Get your props if need be. Palms by the sides of your hips. Press down lightly into the palms so you can feel that uplifted spine. Receive the breath. We're going to move into a little simple twist. Open the arms to the wingspan. Release the breath. Left arm reaches over to the right side. Right arm circles back. Follow the fingertips with the gaze of your eyes. You can put your left hand onto the outer edge of your right thigh for just some encouragement into the twist. Or just let it touch the mat wherever it's best for you. Come back into that center. Flow through the center. Open the left arm out to the left. Reach the right arm over to the left side. Hold on to the outer left thigh, knee area, or just touch the mat. Come back to center. One more time, please. Open. Release. Turn to your right. You're going to notice that you're staying balanced because you're having this conscious connection, which requires some effort so you don't tip over as you move. Balancing back into the center. You're going to flow through that practice again as we did, or you're going to bend the right knee, bring the heel in, bring the left hand over to the outer right leg, ankle or foot, and stretch that right leg out. And then you continue opening the right arm, reaching behind you, or just continue with what we started with. Flow back to center. Transition, yogi's choice. Make it right for you. Which practice did you choose? Which one are you practicing to encourage this balancing? And back into center. One more. Yeah. Open into it. Explore into it. Breathe into your practice. Yeah, you're going to discover. Explore. And when your practice is balanced, both sides, you're back into the center. Transition to your tabletop. In our tabletop, we'll begin warming into our energizing segment now. Remember, we're still focusing on the balancing, this conscious effort. So receiving of a breath. Let's reach out the left leg. Just reach it out behind you, toes down. Engage the shoulders, engage the core. Release the breath. Just bend the left knee. That's all we're going to do. And point the toes up. And notice where it feels the strongest for your balance. And then you're going to step that left leg forward to your low lunge. Left leg forward to the low lunge. Receiving of the next breath. Low crescent. Reach the arms back. Circle them down. Constant attention and awareness for your practice of balancing. Lifting up through the fingertips. Sinking down through the hips. Releasing of the breath. Bring the arms straight up to center and then reach them forward. Here comes a little stretch for the left leg. Hip hinge. Stretch out the left leg. Reach the arms forward and then let the arms reach down and lift up behind you. Airplane. Here we go. We're going to flow into this. Receiving breath. One more. Low crescent lunge. You're rising through the fingertips. You're grounding through your lower body. And then you reach forward through the fingertips. Stretch out your left leg. Hip hinge. And then lift those arms up behind you. Yeah. Come back to your low crescent lunge. Arms open wide to your wingspans. Sun goddess. Bend the elbows. Spread the fingers. Lots of little details of balancing here that's requiring effort. And that's all part of your inner yoga practice, keeping you present, learning, growing, and releasing of the next breath. Softly plant the palms down, frame your left foot, step back to tabletop, receiving breath. Reach out the right leg, toes down, heel pushes away. Receive a breath. Release the next breath. Start to bend the right knee, toes point up. Here we go. Release. Bring that right leg forward to your low crescent. Receive a breath. Reach the arms back to the airplane and then let them circle down. Reaching forward, lifting up, gazing up. Hips sink down, oil, fingertips, eyes, heart, reaching up. Release a breath. Hip hinge. Reach forward through the fingertips. Stretch out your right leg. Create airplane arms. And one more. Refresh your balancing. Breath after breath. Keep conscious attention and awareness into your practice. And then we're going to open into that wingspan and sun goddess. Oh, draw those shoulder blades down. Spread those fingertips apart. Receive a breath. Return to low lunge. Plant the palms down. Tuck the back toes under. Lift your back knee. Step back to downward facing dog. So let the right leg step back. Play. Heels up, heels down. Come home here. Let's all settle into downward dog. Wherever that's inviting you, right here, right now. And we'll just do a little bit of a hip opener here. So receive a breath. Left leg starts to reach the split dog. Bend the left knee and then start to travel your left heel over to the right side. Balancing. So you might pivot on the ball of the right foot. Opening. Keep the left knee lifted. Don't let it fall down. Come back to the center. Split dog through the left leg and downward facing dog. One more breath. And then we reach out the right leg to split dog. We notice those sensations. We notice our inner practicing of maintaining our balancing. And then we bend the right knee. And then we travel the right heel over towards the left side. Where's your focal point? What deepened connection are you creating with breath? And back into the center. Split dog and downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, we're going to receive the next breath. We're ready for our energizing segment. We're going to go back to low lunge. Left leg steps forward. Low lunge. Bring that right knee down. And then the top of the right foot comes down. And then the arms reach back to airplane. And then they rise up. Low crescent once again. Lift up the fingertips. We're going to open into a twist. Reach the left arm forward, the right arm back. Gaze back over your right fingertips. We're going to practice and focus on balance now. So find that steady state, if it's even a half a breath's worth, where there's no effort, where you've come home. Let's just let the left hand, the back of our left hand or forearm come to the inner left thigh. We just kind of reach it out so that left thigh opens up a little more. And keep gazing at the right fingers. And then release the breath. Softly release the right arm down. Return your body back into the center. Reach the arms forward. Lift the arms up together to your low lunge. Reopen to the twist. Left arm comes forward, right arm comes back. Second time. Can you find that balanced state a little easier? Let's bring the right arm down and lift the left arm up. Gaze up towards the left fingertips if you choose. One breath. All the effort and conscious awareness of balancing. Notice if there's a state, a moment of no effort for balance. Back into the center. Reopen the arms together, wingspan. Plant the palms down. Slowly stretch the left leg back. Bring you back to tabletop. Going into wide child's pose. So let the knees reach out wide to the long edges of your mat. Let your body just release, relax into this practice. Breath body is refreshed through the back now. That's the place where it's most open, most inner spaciousness. So feel the rising, falling of the breath through your back body. If anything is not of comfort, create an adjustment for yourself. This is your practice. One more breath. And then we'll rise together. So we softly begin to lift the head. We begin to lift the hips away from the heels. Bring the knees back to center. So you might tuck the toes. Hover the knees, draw them back. Maybe you've got a different movement into your tabletop. And then you reach out that right leg. Low lunge. Bring the right leg forward. Arms go back to airplane. They begin to circle forward and rise up. Lift up through those fingertips. Sink down through your hips. Remember, we're going to focus on balance now. So notice that moment there. You can be of no effort, where you have arrived for today. As you release the breath, open twist. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back, gaze back over the left fingertips, and then softly release the right arm down to the inside of your right thigh, back of the hand or the forearm, and let that inner right thigh just reach out a little bit. Relax the shoulder and release that left arm down. Circle the arms back forward. Lift back up to your low crescent lunge. Open into the twist. Nicely done. And then you slowly bring the left arm down as the right arm continues to rise up. The state of balance comes and goes many times throughout each asana practice. Just to notice when it has arisen, and then return back into that consciousness of balancing. Come back into your open twist and return. Left arm circles forward, palms plant down, step back into tabletop, and transition to wide downward facing dog. So as the knees start to hover, the legs stretch out, step one foot out and step the other foot out. Now continue into transitioning into downward facing dog. But keep the feet really wide, please. All the way out to the long edges of your mat. Receive one more breath here. And then we're going to go to wide plank. So the breath is received. The heels rise up. Gaze forward. You might take a step forward with your hands. You might not. Draw the torso forward, shoulders wrist stacked, and then let the hips sink. And wide plank. Lower the hips down slowly. They might touch the mat, they might not. Draw the heart center forward. You're going into wide up dog and lift the heart, lift the eyes. You can bring the knees down. You can keep them hovering. Return wide downward facing dog. One more breath. And then we're going to slowly transition to lizard. So we receive a breath. We reach out the left leg, gaze forward, step that left foot to the outer edge of your left hand. Receive the next breath. Sink down a little deeper the hips. Wiggle the back toes behind you. There you go. Here we go. Next breath. You're going to begin to gently reach the left arm forward. Now the left arm is going to circle up. You're going to turn the torso to the long edge of your mat, and you're going to gaze up. So now you're into this revolving twist. As you release the breath, the left arm releases down. Bring it to the outside of your left foot, and then you're going to transition to the high lunge. So you receive the breath. Arms begin to reach back. Reach forward. Lift up. Up, up, up we go. Everybody lifting up together. And then open into the twist here. Left arm forward. Right arm back. Lots of balancing to get into balance. It comes, it goes. It's just a moment of balance. No effort. One breath. Release the next breath. The right arm releases down. Receive. Return to your high crescent. And release the breath. Hip hinge. Arms reach forward. Take a step forward with your right leg. Begin to stretch out your left leg. You're going to stand up in one-legged balance. Let the arms begin to lift up again. Find your drishti. Strengthen that left leg. Start to bring the right foot forward and lift that right foot up. Release the breath. Return. Bring that right leg all the way back. Bring the arms back to the airplane. Receive. Let the arms lift up. High crescent lunge once again. Now you're going to open the hips, preparing for reverse triangle. Balancing into balance. Receive a breath. Stretch out the left leg. Pivot the right heel down. Open the hips up. Open the arms out. And then bring the right arm down, the left arm up. Now you might realign your body into a little deeper triangle pose. Just take your time. Breathe into it. One more nice deepened breath. Reverse triangle. Receive a breath. Come back up into the center. Warrior two. And receive. Stretch out the left leg. We're going to go to the long edge of our mat for wide straddle, forward fold. Pick up the left foot. Pivot on the ball, the left heel. Arms continue to reach out. Maybe the heels turn in. Maybe the toes turn out. And hip hinge. So let the hips hinge you forward. Gaze down so the neck stays lengthened. But let the fingertips keep reaching out. Now release the arms down. You might have a block or two in between your feet for your fingertips to touch on. Bow into your wide straddle, forward fold. Bow into it. Then we'll flow into a little twist. Receive a breath. Do a little half lift. Reach the right arm over towards the right toes. And now just let the right arm circle up as you follow the fingertips. Release the breath. Right arm circles down. Back to the center for the right fingertips. The left arm reaches over towards the left side, and the left arm and hand reach up to the sky. Gaze up, reach up, and release down. 1 or 2 more, please. When you're back into that center, please pause for a breath. And then half lift. Now we're going to practice that energizing sequence for the opposite side. So micro bend both knees. Begin to slowly pivot the toes towards the short edge of your mat. So your opposite leg and foot, for most of us, hopefully it's the right. The right toes turn to the top edge of your mat. Sorry. The left toes turn, but they're behind you. Bend the right knee, low lunge. The left knee comes down top, the left foot comes down. The breath is received again. We're going to reach the arms back to airplane, and then we're going to rise them up to our low crescent. Balancing into balance. It's a dance. A continuous energetic dance. When you release the next breath, open twist. The right arm reaches forward. The left arm reaches back. Reach through. Beautiful. Release this next breath. Sorry. The right arm comes down again. Reach back again. Excellent. And then release. Release the left arm. Receive. Reach the arms forward. Return. Low crescent. And slowly begin to plant the palms down. Tuck the back toes. Lifting that back knee. You're going to go to your wide downward dog now. So you start to transition. Stretch out the right leg. Start to bring the right foot over to the outer edge. Step the left foot to the outer edge. Wide downward facing dog. Transition to wide plank. Receiving breath. Heels rise. Gaze forward. Shift the torso forward. Maybe you take a step forward with the hands. Roll shoulders, wrists aligned. Drop the hips lightly. And then either go to the knees into a wide cobra. Or keep the knees lifted and go into wide upward dog. Release the breath. Return. Wide. Downward facing dog. Lizard. With this next breath, let the breath refresh you. And reach out the right leg to the split dog. Step the right foot to the outside of your right hand. Receive the next breath. Here comes your revolving twist. The right arm is going to reach forward. It begins to circle up. Look up. Gaze up. Open up. Lots of practice of effort of maintaining balance here. But notice when that moment may arise where it's a state of being. You've just arrived. There's not the effort. Everything's just right. When you release the next breath, circle the right arm down or out to the side, whatever is best for you. And then we're going to slowly reach the arms back together. We're going to rise to the high crescent. So you might step that left foot in just a little bit. It might be just right where it is. Balancing into balance. Open into the twist. Right arm forward. Left arm reaching back. Gaze back. Open up. Beautiful. Release the left arm. Circle it forward. Here we go. Return to your high crescent. Prepare for your one leg standing. Releasing breath. Reach out through the fingertips. Hip hinge. Take a step in with your left leg. Stretch out the right leg. Lift the arms back up. Engage muscular energy, right leg. And pick up that right foot. Release the next breath. Step back to your high crescent through the lower body with airplane arms. There we go. Reach back through the fingertips. Open up through the collarbones. Release the shoulder blades down. Return to your high crescent. When strength and surrender are in balance, effortlessness may arise. Open twist. Right arm reaches forward. Left arm reaches back. Prepare for your reverse triangle. Circle the left arm down. Reach it forward. Spin the left heel down. Stretch out the right leg. So your hips are facing the long edge of the mat. Arms are open wide to the wingspan. And then the left arm comes down. The right arm reaches up. Balancing into balance. Strength and surrender. Dancing together. Finding that balance. Breath refreshing you. Come back up into your center. Open the arms wide. Turn the feet so they're parallel now. Maybe the heels in a bit. Toes out. Wide straddle forward fold. Hip hinge. Flow just a couple rounds into that nice little twist. Reach the left arm out first, please. And then let that left arm lift up. When you release the breath, the left arm just releases down. The fingertips come back into that center, and then receive the next breath and reach out through the right fingertips and let it lift up. One more time, please. And we're all back into our center together. We're going to bow into our wide straddle forward fold. We're all going to half lift together. Lengthen the spine. Even wiggle your fingertips away from the mat. So you know that, yes, I've got this strength engaged in core, in body skill. Yes, I've got the balancing through the soles of my feet. And yes, that moment of balance with one breath just might arise. Releasing of your next breath. We're going to micro bend the knees gently. Transition to tabletop. So again, you're going to pivot on the balls of your feet. Start to lower one knee. Bring the other knee down. Realign so everything is just right in tabletop. And And we'll flow through our spinal balance with leg extension. Hover the left knee. Reach out the left leg. Plant the sole of the left foot down. Gaze down at your right knee. And if you could see your foot either to either side of your right knee, please bring it into alignment so it disappears. Then you know it's in alignment with your knee. And then flow through your spinal wave. Complete your last sequence in balance, of course, and yogi's choice to return back to tabletop. From tabletop, opposite side, please. Hover the right knee. Begin to reach that right leg out to the right side, planting the sole of your right foot down deeply to the outer edge. Flow freely through your spinal waves. Your many details of alignments, body skills, focal intention through this balancing that brings you into that state of balance. Please remember, it just comes, it goes. It's just to notice that moment where it may arise. One more time, please. And when your practice is balanced on both sides, you're back into your center. Yogi's choice to return to your tabletop. From your tabletop, we're going to transition onto our right side. So remember your yoga. You're transitioning. You lower yourself down gently to your right hip. Let's bend the right elbow and let the hand rest on the side of our head. So it's not squishing your ear, but so it's comfortable. Both knees are bent. We're going to do a little what's called cat tail pulling practice. A nice little stretch for the quads and the side bodies. So from here, both knees bent. Bring up the left knee. With your left hand, hold on to the outer edge of your left leg towards the ankle, or even maybe the top of your left foot. Release the breath. Now let the left hand and arm start to draw the left knee behind you. Readjust your hand if need be so that you can move a little deeper. If you prefer to have your head laying closer to the mat, stretch out your right arm. Let the right side of your face rest onto your right arm or a block. If you want to feel another sensation of balancing into the balance of this practice, stretch the right leg out to the right side. And follow with breath. Just a couple more times. Nice quad stretch. Nice side body stretch. Can you notice the sensations on the right side stretching as you pull your left knee back? So the left heel is like traveling towards your top of your left hip area. Relax the shoulder. Yeah. One more breath. And we'll gently transition. Softly release the pulling back of the left knee. Release the shoulder. If you stretched out the right leg, bend the right knee. Let the knees stack on each other. Transition to the opposite side. Press the left palm down. Maybe stretch the legs out. Roll to the belly. Roll onto your right side. Knees bent. You can start out by bending the left elbow, supporting the side of your head. Get the feeling, get the shape. Maybe you lower your head right away. Stretch out your left hand and let the side of your head rest on the upper arm. Then you hover the right knee up. Bring your right hand to the shin, ankle, or top of the foot area. Relax the right shoulder blade and then start to draw the right heel towards the top of your right hip. If you want another sensation of the effort of balancing into maybe a state of effortlessness of balance, stretch out the left leg. Create what's right for you. Remember, you can refresh your practice with each breath. How about one more breath here? Nice. And then slowly transition back to your center. Slowly release the cat pulling effort, bending both knees if they're not already there. Transition to supine. So maybe you press into the right palm to lift the body just enough towards the seated pose, shifting to the center of both hips, and then roll your body down. Please keep the knees bent. So you're going to the constructive rest pose. Feet and knees are hip width apart. Arms are just resting by the sides. Going to do just a nice little releasing shoulder practice. Prepare our body for Shavasana today. Arms by the sides. Let's receive a breath together. Start to reach the fingertips towards the feet, just a little, and then let them start to lift up. Lift up, lift up. So they stay shoulder width apart, palms facing each other. Receive the next breath. With effort, lift up the fingertips higher until you feel the shoulder blades lifting away from your mat. And when you release the next breath, draw the shoulder blades down onto your mat. The arms might open up wider when you do that. Receive a breath, lifting through the fingertips, shoulder blades lifting up together. You can feel that space happening when you do this. Release the breath. Draw the shoulder blades back down. Energy, effort. And then find that moment. Maybe there's a moment of balance where it's effortlessness. Yeah. How about one or two more on your own? Bring the shoulders into a neutral position and slowly begin to bring the arms down by your sides. Picking up both feet with or without support. Giving yourself that wonderful little hug. Thighs towards the chest or knees towards the armpits. And roll from hip bone to hip bone. Relaxing, releasing. just to simply enjoy this massage-like action. Find yourself back into center and let both legs elevate together. Again, with or without support. You have practiced well this month as we took you through the journey of balancing and balance as it applies to our yoga. How you realized balancing is effort, takes conscious awareness to bring each body part, each micro movement towards this balance state. And in that moment where there's no effort, you've arrived, you're at home, into balance. One more deepened breath here, please. And as you release this breath, softly begin to release your body into Shavasana. Or if it's yogi's choice to keep the legs elevated, please honor that. Shavasana may be the easiest pose to experience physical effortlessness. Once the physical is near balance, we may become more aware of smaller imbalances, perhaps in our impatience, perhaps in our inattentions. With the words, "This too shall pass," realize how close you may be to a total balance. Shavasana. Gently draw your awareness to that place between your eyebrows, expanding that awareness into your space and wiggling through fingers, toes, maybe moving through wrists and ankles. Invite your next breath to awaken you as you gift your body with an awakening stretch. And from this awakening stretch, we softly turn onto our right side. And begin to rise into a seated pose. In our seated poses with Anjali Mudra, a dear breath is received. To release the breath, we gently bow forward, thanking ourselves for taking this time today to reconnect and know everything we did was enough. And we'll rise together, closing together today. Namaste. Namaste. Thank each of you for joining together. Please do unmute yourself, say goodbye to your fellow yogis.
Thank